Ooh, girl, I'm so happy to be done traveling for the year. All of November, aside of Thanksgiving week, I have been living out of a suitcase, and no thank you. November 1, I had my lovely friend's wedding ceremony. And then the second week, I was at the Rebel and Readers author event. Third week, I was cat sitting. And then the fourth week, I was in the Bay Area for the Love and Tech Book Fest. And that was the last book convention that I have for the year. I will never do 2 cons in 1 month ever again. But I feel like the real question is, are these cons worth it? It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's a lot. And so I'm gonna just do a breakdown of where I've been, what I've learned, etc. And at the end, we will all come to the same conclusion, I'm assuming, of our book cons worth it, especially because I feel like they're really taken off or have really taken off. The Rebel and Readers author event, she started it 11 years ago, and she said she was like one of 5 book cons. So the fact that there's not like there's a con every weekend in every state, so just the fact that it's blown up so much, there's just opportunities everywhere, but do you really have to do it? As an attending author, I was supposed to be in 4 cons this year, but after Romance Con, I got really, really sick. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna back out, because tell me why the next weekend, this is something I learned, no 2 cons in 1 month. The next weekend I had another con in Wisconsin, but another 8 hours north. So the first one was in Milwaukee, and that's a 4 to 5 hour drive depending on Chicago. But Eau Claire would have been even further north, and I didn't have books and I didn't feel like driving. And when I tried to get a car, because I reserved a car on Enterprise, they were like, you don't have a car here. And I'm like, so I just feel like everything was going against me. Nothing was going right. I was sick, da da da. So I didn't make it to Eau Claire, but I did have some FOMO because I obviously wanted to go. I signed up to go. But when everything just came crashing down after getting back from my first con, I was just like, this must be a sign that I need to take heed to. Also, is anyone else obsessed with these ponytails? Anyway, so I was at Romance Con first, and it was a lot. That was a lot for my first con, because obviously it had the controversy with Julie Soto and Harry Potter, and authors dropping out or attending the other con that did not invite me. That was not my favorite way to get into the book conventions of life. Romance Con started with over 230 authors, and I think by the time it came around, there were 30 of us. We all had expectations that weren't, oh God. Romance Con was tough as a con, but as an attending author and even a reader, I had a good time because I got to see the authors, talk to readers. It was honestly amazing. And in a weird way, I guess it was better that way, because if it was 200 people, 200 attending authors, big name authors they had, I don't know if I would have got received as well as I did. But I also wanted to meet Denise Williams. Y'all ruined my chances. So I went to Romance Con, loved Romance Con. I sold out. We all sold out. A lot of the authors sold out. I sold out day 1. And then I was bored and I left with Azaria. Y'all know the story. But yeah, I would give Romance Con, what did I give it? go see my last video. I think overall was like a 4 out of 5, but I really, really, really enjoyed the people I got to talk to, the people who talked to me. I did some panels, so they were like, oh my God, I loved you on the panel. And I was like, if you love to hear me talk, find me on YouTube, find me on podcast, blah. And then I really enjoyed the authors I got to meet. I think most of us were indie. I think only Kara was, no, there was also a very famous, not famous, but a very well-known fantasy author there. She's also trad. But yeah, I just love the author community because for me, especially like indie and trad, like a trad author that I love, Denise Williams, was going to be there, and I'm pretty sure I would have like freaked out a little, but then she would have just been like, chill, I'm Denise Williams from Iowa, like it's not that deep, and then I'll be like, okay girl. But yeah, it's just really interesting, like breaking that wall from having someone high and they're just like, chill, I eat green beans just like you. So, and then I was gonna go to Booked Eau Claire the following weekend, but like I said, I was sick and I had like a staycation. I already had my dogs for their bed and breakfast, so I still took them there, and it was just like me and the cats, and you know cats are very low maintenance, and it was just me and the cats, and it was like a very good weekend. Nick was out of town, Nick was still gone. So I didn't make it to Booked Eau Claire, but it looked so fun. I literally had so much FOMO, but you know. And then November, with all the things in one suitcase. So like I said, friend's wedding. The following weekend was Rebel and Readers author event. I forget what it's called. But like I said, she was like one of the starting book convention planners. And that's just interesting to me. But whatever. That event was interesting because there was a lot of like I want to say smutty authors. I'm more of a closed door author, and there was also like fantasy, but like a type of fantasy I have never seen before. There were people, or like just like covers and stuff, they were like painted blue, they had horns, and then here's me with my contemporary young adult novel, like, you want to read it? And so I personally felt a little out of place, but I did meet another author who's like close to me, not close, but like in the same state, and I was like, what? And like people came from all over for this event, and it was like all sorts of well known, and they're so sad, they're crying because it's over, and I was just like, oh, who knew? I was just here at the last one with my young adult novel that 9 people bought. I think that's the most I've ever sold in life, or like at an event, because you know, local signings, But I was well received by readers, but like within the author space, I was just like, huh. And like I try to do my research of the other attending authors just to see if there's any people of color. Romance Con, there was other people of color. This RARAE, there was me, the only Black person, and then an Asian author. So that was a thing too. I was just like, oh God. Oh yeah, so I tried to do my research on the other attending authors, and I had the list, and I was just like, I am not finding these people, and if I am, because like I said, they write some very interesting things. I don't know if it's people or not, but I was just like, oh. So I gave up on my research because I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't understand, But I was happy to be there, and I checked off West Virginia. I want to attend a book convention as an indie author in every state, and West Virginia's done with that. And then Love and Tech was awesome. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't really know what I'm thinking when I go into these things, but because I'm first and foremost, I'm just thinking, is anybody Black? And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I just really don't put a lot of heed into these events. I'm mainly worried about, or not worried, but my main thought process is visiting an indie bookstore and doing some touristy things. There was nothing to do in West Virginia. And if there was a Milwaukee Brewers game at Romance Con, I would have went, but Azaria was like, I don't want to do that. So like, and she was my assistant. So if she wanted to go, we would have had a place to go. But I was in the Bay, and I used to be a huge G-Eazy fan. So getting to be in the Bay where he raps about all the time, I was like, But yeah, it was a good time. It was a Friday and Saturday event. My mom and I got there on Thursday. We did all our touristy stuff. And then Friday we set up, and then there was a night event where readers and authors like sat at tables and did crafts. That was really fun. That's where I got to meet a lot of other authors. Some of you guys know how easy I call someone my best friend, but like literally someone my best friend. I miss Allie Cole already. I miss C.A. Chaplin already. Like, me and my mom, we just had a good time talking to everyone. So they had that event. It was nice. They had catered food. Well, I don't know if it was catered. It was like hotel food. But I was nervous because the food in West Virginia from that hotel was so fucking nasty. It was sandwiches and cold sandwiches, but the cheese was melted. It was nasty. And like signing days, events, conventions take a lot out of you. So you do need sustenance. I have seen people like chew on a snack bar or something. And I appreciate the sentiment, but why is cheese melting on a cold sandwich? But in the Bay, their food was on point, and it was just like little food, but little food hates to see me coming because I will stack that bitch. Anyway, so that was Friday, and then Saturday, they had a brunch for us. Thank you. They had brunch for us, which I loved, and it was actually really good. Yeah, that was amazing. And then we had the signing, and before the signing, I decided to film a TikTok of a Soul Train line, and a lot of the authors were accommodating with that, and that was so cool. And then we had the signing, and it was 5 hours, which I think is good. 6 is too long. 4 is too not long enough, because you get the stragglers in the last hour. But also that like last 15 minutes, it's like, can we go now? My feet hurt. I didn't take my pants off. So please, no more than 5 hours. And yeah, it was fun. My mom was with me, so she was able to like man my table. I was so proud of her. She actually got me a sale. But sometimes I would just like get up because I'm bored, you guys. I can't just sit here and smile at people and hope they talk to me and then they don't, and I'm like, meh. So she was there to man my table, but I can't do that with Azaria. I have learned my lesson and I respect it. So I was able to just like go bop around to some of the authors that I wasn't able to talk to because the previous day we got to set up, but not all the authors came, So I like talking to the other authors. I want to see their books. I want to talk, learn the story, learn the lore. So like, yeah, those were the events that I went to, and I've learned a lot. Starting with, I don't know, I got on this Facebook group, and it's like book conventions around the world, and people who are doing book conventions will put their like author interest form in there. And I I just do it. I don't care where it is, when it is, I just put my name in there. And then if they're like, yes, Taylor, I will be like, okay, when was it again? To make sure it's not around my niece's birthday, niece's birthdays, Nick's birthday, my birthday, just the important things, you know, Chandler's birthday. And if that's not the case, I give them money. Table fees. Which makes sense because it's in a hotel and this, that, and the other. This is the sad part, you guys. I believe that book conventions are hella expensive. I have author friends who have beautiful, well-paid jobs. I don't have that. I never had that. I am in this new journey where I work 3 part-time jobs because full-time is a soul sucker. But yeah, even when I was working full-time, I still no. So yes, now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of life. You have your table fee. And 9 times out of 10, they just want you to put down a deposit of $100 and then pay the remainder some other time. It helps, I guess, because you pay it so far in advance, you think by the time the event comes, you're like, oh, it was free. So you have the table fee. And depending on where you are, you have lodging, transportation to, from, and during, food, purchasing the books you bring to sell, purchasing the books from your author friends that you now know and love, table decor, parking, touristy things. Like I said, if Azaria was about it, we would have went to a Milwaukee's game. When my mom and we didn't do much touristy pay things. We only did the Golden Gate Bridge, but then I needed a shirt and that was like $30. But allegedly it goes to the park, so I felt good about that. Did I say event parking? Event parking. And you guys, at these hotels nowadays, you have to pay more. Breakfast is not included. You don't get a hotel and they serve you breakfast. You get a hotel and while you're checking out, they're like, do you want to add breakfast for $50 a night? And I'm like, what the hell? That only happened in West Virginia, but thankfully the planner paid for the attending authors and I guess the readers too, hopefully, to have breakfast. But what in God's name? What happened to breakfast? Why are we... And 9 times out of 10, you have to pay for an assistant, if you want someone to be there with you. And in my unpopular opinion, you always want someone to be there with you, whether you have to get up and go to the bathroom or just need to wander for a while. Not with Azaria. I just think you always need an assistant because for me, it helps take the edge off. You're about to be in a room for a monotony of hours surrounded by people you don't know. So to have one person next to you that you do know, I feel really takes the stress out of it a little. Not always, not all of it, but definitely a huge majority. So always pay for that assistant. I don't think I've seen them be more expensive than 25 or $50, but it's completely worth it. So I did do a how much I spent, how much I made for Romance Con. Yeah, what I spent was nowhere close to what I made. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. And in Love and Tech, I heard, they were like, oh, how'd you do? And I'm like, good, because a sale is a sale, But I also came from Indiana to San Francisco, which was a pretty penny. And 9 times out of 10 authors are like, oh, I just want to make back my table fee. I don't think I've ever done that. One day. But I really enjoyed the authors in Love and Tech because they were like, yeah, blah. I don't know. I just felt very understood when it came to sales and what I did or didn't, blah, blah, blah. So when you are going to these events, if you decide to go, you have to get there. And when you're in that packing, you obviously have the books that you wrote to sell and Tylenol. Make sure you have your Tylenol. Make sure you have a travel water bottle. 9 times out of 10, there's like somewhere in the room where you can like refill it. Love. Thank you. In my unpopular opinion, you should probably wear quote unquote fancy shoes. Bonus points if your fancy shoes are comfortable. But if you don't wear comfortable shoes, make sure you have comfortable shoes for when you are tearing down. I enjoy wearing Converse to my conventions, and Converse are not comfortable. So like being in Converse for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, because before and after I'm like crying. So make sure if you're not wearing comfortable shoes, pack comfortable shoes, especially for that last 15 minutes, man. Take them off. You will be fine. So I am not a fashionista. Comfort over everything. And so the most woo-woo I wear is like jeans. I wear like jeans and a t-shirt. And and I'm like, even the jeans, I'm like, boo, especially like at the end of the day, I'm like, so maybe I should start packing pants. Okay, but yeah, I remember when I was packing for Romance Con, I was like trying to pack according to who I'm not, and that like really stressed me out. And then I was like, okay, we're just gonna start over, and like I was gonna wear a sweater, and like, am I going to, where do you wear a sweater? But I didn't feel like I needed to wear a sweater. But yeah, I just think you wear the clothes that you are comfortable in and that like, I don't know, you feel good in. Why wear something that you don't feel good in at an event where you have to like be present and still, so just be yourself and be comfortable when it comes to the clothes that you're packing. And last but not least, in my unpopular opinion, you damn near need every type of jacket when going to these things, because sometimes you just want like a little zip up and something that you can take off, and then sometimes you don't want it to be zipped so it has no buttons, you wear a cardigan, and sometimes you want a hood but not like a coat hood, just like a little hood. Sometimes you brought a hat so you don't need a hood and you just wear a crew neck. In my unpopular opinion, have as many jackets as you desire. So just like with book signings, like even local, I literally have a cart with all of my stuff in it. And it has my books, permanent markers, like a little sheet and clipboard for newsletter signups, little like free swag things like bookmarks, pins. The only thing I always have to get is like cash and like dollar bills, because my book is $18. Someone will pass me a 20. Sometimes people will be like, keep the change. And I'm like, thank you. But if they're not, here's your $2 back. But yeah, in my unpopular opinion, it's really easy to have that when things are local, but sometimes I do forget things. I keep forgetting permanent markers, like how embarrassing. So yeah, either have like a book con basket or have like a book con list of the things that you need to make sure that you pack to bring to the con. Books, permanent markers, I have a tablecloth, your banner, we love a banner, the freebies that you put on the table, stickers, candy, pins, bookmarks. If you want to invest in bags that you can put your book in to give to the person, sure. I don't enjoy spending money. I don't enjoy spending my money. So if y'all want me to have bags, give me some money. I'm kidding. These are just a few of the things that you need to consider when deciding to attend and pay for a book convention. And honestly, I'm very irresponsible. So maybe you shouldn't listen to me. But like I said, book conventions all over the world, country, maybe world, have really, really, really taken off. And what else has taken off? Book convention mishaps. Like a room with concrete that looks like a warehouse, a room that's supposed to be like a ball that has a speaker on a chair. There has been a lot of controversy. That's the word. There has been so much controversy when it comes to book cons. So people say, do your research. I am a lazy fuck. I have so much on my plate. The last thing I want to do is research on if a book convention is legit or not. Because in my unpopular opinion, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful community. Why the fuck would you ruin it with your nonsense? You guys, I got scammed. I definitely got scammed this year. I probably got scammed next year. We're gonna have to see. I'll be back for that. But the one I got scammed out of this year, it was like Unalive Promotions, and they had a controversy earlier this year. So I saw the controversy because a friend sent it to me, and I like posted it to where my convention was, and I was like, hey, can we get some insight on this? They deleted the fuck out of my post. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, we're canceling all the rest of the events for the year. We'll be back with communication about refunds. I am pissed. We ain't heard shit. And what's crazy is a friend that I made at Romance Con was going to that con, and I'm like, oh my God, I would have got to see you again. But now, we're just out. But God knows I'm out of money. So do your research, they say. Like I said, I ain't doing it. But I will be only submitting myself to conventions that my friends either recommend to me or my friends are also going to, so that that makes me feel better. But y'all, that is so rude. And I wish you nothing but the worst, honestly. People are like, oh, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I am not that kind of girl. I do wish it on you. In my unpopular opinion, are book conventions worth the time, money, mental, physical, everything to attend as an attending author? You guys know I was going to say yes. Thank you. Totally. I feel like I don't know. One, I'm irresponsible. Two, I will almost do anything to be surrounded by books, readers, writers, which is how I got scammed, I'm assuming. I like, honestly, it is my bread and butter. After Love and Tech, there was like a little night thingy where, again, we were doing crafts and stuff. And there was food. Brittany did the damn thing on the food. And like, we authors, we were dragging, but it was so hard for us to part from each other because this is amazing. This community, this vibe is amazing. Like, I'm assuming we all have some sort of other job that doesn't have to do with books. So like, just being in this little area of people who get it and love it is just the best. And like I say all the time, I'm like, I wish I could just do this forever. Or like, we come back next week. It's like the best summer camp you have ever been to, honestly. I definitely think it builds character, it builds connections, it builds your confidence. It's definitely a learning experience. I learn new things every time. Right now, my mom's really on how my table should look, and I'm really on, I don't know what I'm really on. What did I learn last time? I know I learned something, hold on. No, I don't remember. But you learn something every time. Like the previous November event, I learned about werebears. Instead of them turning into wolves, they turn into bears. This is where I was at with my little contemporary young adult romance novel. It was me and werebears. You make friends, you share stories. Like, not every writer's journey is the same. Sometimes readers are like, hey, I want to be a writer, some advice. I remember at Romance Con, I met this girl named Lily, and somehow, because I will blah, 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 my mom's like, you talk a lot. I met this girl named Lily. She came to my table, and somehow we got to the fact that she's an author, and she had her books at the ready, and at the con where I'm an attending author, she's a reader, I bought her book. So, you know, I think that's one of the best. Those are like one of my favorite moments. Either when someone's like, oh, I also want to become a writer, and I just, whatever you can give, I would appreciate. Or if someone's already a writer and you buy their book, because, you know, I will support the cause. And, you know, I make glorious, glorious friendships that I love. I'll never forget being dragged by the bad Taylor saying that I can't make friends in 2 days. Yes, I can. I always have come back from a book convention, the 3 that I have attended this year for the first time, very, very, very fulfilled, whether it's from sales, 9 times out of 10, it ain't sales. Very, very, very fulfilled with the people I met, with the people I talked to. I just, you know, it's the community that I love. It's the community that we love, and we are just being a part of it together. So I come back very, very, very fulfilled until I look at my bank account. But no regrets, no regrets. It's just like, damn. If you're interested, actually, no. I'm not giving advice. This is just my experience and what I enjoy, and do your research.